Hello and welcome to the Video Creator Show, where we talk the juicy details of how to succeed on YouTube. And what better way to do that than to talk directly to someone who has done it. Today, I'm talking with Michael Builds, a do-it-yourself channel that strives to give you the confidence to tackle your own home improvement projects. But first, as you know, the Video Creator Show is brought to you by VidChops.com, an editing service that helps take the burden of editing off your back. Check out VidChops.com to see how you can save yourself tons of time and energy while taking your YouTube channel to the next level. Bam.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for noticing my little channel. So on behalf of me and my subscribers, thanks.
Yeah, of course.
Fun.
Yeah, I mean, and you're killing it. Like, you have over 300,000 subscribers, over 13 million total channel views. Sorry, 13.7 million total channel views. So clearly, Michael, you're doing something right. Like, first things first, like, what was your motivation getting into YouTube? This is a question I like to ask people. It maybe seems a little generic, but I think it's always nice to know, like, why bother? Like, why have you done this? It's a lot of work. I know what it takes to get a channel. So why? What's your goals here?
And my answer is probably going to be just as generic as the question, which is I never set out to start a YouTube channel. So I was just, I worked in a job where I did demonstrations at the Home Depot. And one of the demonstrations that I did was I made a concrete countertop, but I did it in 1 hour. So that was different than traditional methods, which takes a whole week to make a concrete countertop, from pouring it and having to leave it in the mold to finally being able to demold the concrete in a whole week sometimes. The stuff that I was using, which was a special kind of product called Rapid Set Cement, allowed me to do that in 1 hour. Well, my coworker and I, we would constantly get asked on a regular basis, several times a week, how do you make a concrete countertop? And that would be like a 20-minute conversation every single time, and they would still get it wrong. So we kept talking back and forth. I can't believe there's not a YouTube video on this. We need to make one. So finally, after talking about it for a couple of years, I just went out to the shed and started working on a video. It was mainly just to make my job easier so that I didn't have to keep talking about it, for them to just still get it wrong. So I wanted to be able to say, hey, you know what? Go to this video. All of your questions will be answered in this video, that kind of thing. So I created the video thinking that the only people that were going to see this were the people that I was telling, or the people that my coworkers are telling, or my coworkers were the only ones that were going to see this video. It just kind of doing my research on how to make a YouTube video just snowballed my entire life. It really did, because all of a sudden these other doors started opening up in my research. I just didn't want to make a crappy video. So I was looking up how do you make a YouTube video? So it just turned into this thing. Again, still not looking to make a YouTube channel, but I posted the video, and it was December 2018. A few months later, the video just kind of started to take off, and it kind of spiked. And I think it was because it filled a content gap, and YouTube loves its content gaps. So everybody had a concrete countertop video, but none of them were how to make a concrete countertop in 1 hour. So I think that's where that kind of exploded. And here we are today.
Yeah, I
really.
mean, that makes sense. And so your story it's relatively common for somebody to want to make a video to help the people around them. So you talk to all these people in person. They're like, hey, how do I make a concrete countertop? You get asked so many times that you're fed up. You decide to make a video, and then all of a sudden it blows up. I've heard a few stories of this, and it kind of makes sense, right? A lot of people, they're like, well, what do I make a YouTube channel about? How do I even know what is going to be popular?
Right.
In your case, you know, you're talking to these people at Home Depot, and it's just time in and time out. They're asking the same question. So
Yes.
it's clear this was a good idea for a video. Now it has 4.6 million views. It's your top video. So this was your first video that you made.
My first video is my top video and my worst video, which is really ironic. But yeah, I very rarely go back to watch that video, but once in a great while when I'm feeling funny, I'll go watch it and just cringe the entire way. But at the same time, I'm still very proud of it.
Dude, that's how it works. So the less you like a video, the more likely it is to do really well. That's just sort of a fact of YouTube. Obviously, it's not actually a fact, but the amount of times that happens, the amount of people I've talked to where that is the case, the amount of times it's happened to me, I mean, it's overwhelming. It's just, that's how it goes. I like to think it's the universe just kind of messing with us, you know. I think it also, there's a lesson in here, right? To me, the lesson is you don't necessarily know what people want. In this case, you knew the people wanted to know how to make a concrete countertop in 1 hour, but you know, as you said, it's not your best video by any means. But maybe that doesn't matter. The information is there. It's useful. It's helpful. The people are getting what they need out of the video, and that's ultimately all that really matters, you know. I think maybe for like when I have a video that does well that I'm not a huge fan of, I kind of have to set my ego aside and just be like, well, people liked the video. So, and try not to think about it too much. I get it. It's a bit of a struggle.
And it's funny because in the research, the journey of learning how to film, learning how to make YouTube videos and such, you keep hearing the same term over and over again, is it's all about story. And in the DIY platform, this is no different. It's just that your story is your project. So that becomes very big in having a DIY channel. It's still about story. And I like to add my own spin on that story. So hopefully that's part of the reason why my channel has been able to do so well.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. So you are telling a story here, whether it's a how-to video or wwhatever. You are telling a story. So can you take us through your process of how you present this information and kind of tell a story?
First it starts off with the idea. Okay, what project am I going to do next? While I'm working on the current project, I'm trying to think about the next project. So certain dialogue starts to pop in my head. I write it down in my notes. It kind of happens organically that way. In my first video, I did a whole storyboard. I did some things word for word. I had a script and everything. Now it's very, very little about script. I have the message I want to give. I have the project that I want to convey. I have that motivation of making sure that my viewer can do this project and will want to do this project by watching my video. That's all there, and then it just all kind of goes into that pot and it forms organically. I get in front of the camera. I set up the shot of what particular thing I'm doing or operation, and I just kind of go from there. Yes, I run my lines over and over again of what I want to say, just like anybody else, but it's so hard to say when you do it so organically. But I think the main thing that once I did realize that, hey, this could be a channel, and where do I go from here, and where do I go in the future? I didn't want my videos to be like some of the other videos I saw out there, which was setting up a camera on a tripod that was almost a mile away from the project, a mile away from you, a mile away from the voice. I wanted it to be more dynamic. I wanted the camera angles to be more dynamic. I wanted the viewer to be in the project with me. I want them to feel like they're standing next to me. I'm teaching them how to do this just like I used to do in the Home Depots. And that's basically what that is the motivation for all my videos, really. And I think that's what sets me apart. is making sure that I'm getting you guys right in there with me. So.
Right, yeah, and it's super important to have all the right camera angles. Not only does it make things interesting, and I mean, you've got lots of cool shots. You even have shots where it's kind of like rotating out and rotating in, and like there's like some fanciness to it. And I think it's also just helpful to have the up close shots, as you've said. So I think it's great that you're paying attention to details like this in your process. So can you talk about how YouTube has affected your life? So you were working at Home Depot. Now you have a YouTube channel. What does a day in your life look like now versus before?
A day in the life of my life. It's nice that you have the freedoms of, working for yourself. But at the same time, now this is my responsibility. It is it's 100% my responsibility to water this tree so that it bears fruit. Before, when you work for a company, they hand you a bushel of fruit to eat. Now I'm responsible for this tree. Otherwise my family doesn't eat. So I make sure that I get out to the shed and I'm making videos. So I try to stick to a schedule. It's nice that I can deviate from that schedule whenever I want. So, I get out to the shed, I start working on a video. I do have a lunchtime. So at lunchtime, it's okay, it's quitting time for now. Go have lunch, then get back in the shed, start working on the video again. Then I'm done by 4. And then it's okay, time to set the YouTube aside. And now it's family time. And that's just when I'm in the process of filming. Then after I'm done filming, then I get into the mode of, okay, now it's editing time. So it starts out again. I know that eventually I need to get my own kind of office to do editing because home life is very distracting.
I'm sure.
But no, my family knows that, okay, once Daddy is sitting in front of his laptop, it's editing time. So then I edit until that's done, and then it's on to the next video. But I do still have the freedom to, again, deviate from that schedule when I need to, but I know that I need to get back. I know when it's time to get back on track too. So,
Well, it's great you got a regimented schedule like that. That's probably very helpful for staying productive and staying on schedule, things like that.
Oh yeah.
So it sounds like this is your full-time job now, correct?
Yes, I was able to quit my full-time job. July 2021, and go for YouTube full time.
That is awesome. So, in what ways are you monetizing your channel? So you have ad revenue, you have merchandise. Can you talk a little bit about your business model?
Okay, so yeah, I do have the ad revenue, and that is sadly to say that is like half of what my revenue is coming from is ad revenue. I do have merch. The merch doesn't do as well, but that's because I don't push it. I hate pushing my merch on people. It's there if they want it. If they want to help support the channel, hey, it's there. But I also do like sponsorships. I have a company, Rapid Set. They sponsor me all the time. They've been a phenomenal help in help supporting the channel. They really have. So sometimes I will do a video that they request, which is sponsored. But a lot of times I still use their project, or I use their product on my own accord, which I don't request that they sponsor, because I want to have that gap, or that barrier between sponsored videos and my organic videos kind of thing. I've also started to dabble in working with other sponsorships and other companies and other products and stuff like that. But I don't do a lot of reviews. Again, to try to keep the channel honest and more organic. But as a full-time YouTuber, it comes with the nature of the beast. You got to get into those sponsorships. They're very helpful. But I still find a way to keep it honest, always. And that's another thing that I love and hold dear to my. It's one of the things I love about my channel, is that I really try to stay honest with it. Or I'm always being honest. When I screw up, I show you that I'm screwing up, and hopefully you can learn from that. So getting back to the question, yeah, so I deal with sponsorship. I monetize with sponsorships. We monetize with the ad revenue. We are working on Patreon. So I'm finally going to have a Patreon. My very good friend Jordan, he has been he keeps nagging me to get a Patreon set up since day one, but I never felt right about it. But now that I'm full-time YouTube, and my wife is telling me, listen, because I guess I just didn't feel the self-worth for it. She said, listen, if somebody wants to be a patron, they can go ahead and be a patron. If they don't, they won't. So I said, okay, well, let's do this. So it's kind of all set up, ready to go. We're going to be announcing the Patreon in the current video that I'm working on, and we're going to go from there. So that'll be another way to monetize. We are now, since going full-time, my wife has really stepped in, and she's handling a lot of the logistics end of it, because I do everything. I do the filming, I do the project, I do the editing. So she's really stepped in and helped. So now she's been so great, because she's kind of set up a media packet for us. So now when I get emails of companies that say, hey, we've got this tool, we would like you to review it, she will just send off this media packet for them. And hopefully that will take off too and be another form of a great form of monetization. And I think that's where we're at with it. And then I just started to get into Instagram, monetizing on Instagram. And that's been fun. So I've been doing a lot of fun reels trying to make Instagram blow up. So that's yet another brand new form, but it's another form of monetization that we're working on. So
Right on. And yeah, your Instagram has over 9,000 followers here. It looks like
was it 9,000? Or I didn't know. Last time I checked, I think it was at 6,000. So
wow.
that's cool.
I mean, clearly things are working out here. Well, awesome. Okay. Like you've got several ways of monetizing your channel. You have some that are even up and coming with Patreon. What you said about Patreon and like not feeling worthy, I totally get that. Yes. Before I launched our Patreon, I had the same idea. Even like after I launched it, I still felt a little weird about asking for people's money. Though it's funny, right?
Yes.
Like with a sponsorship, there's something different about that. There's a company that's like, hey, I'll pay you this amount of money to pitch our product. And that feels like, I guess, less personal or something. Whereas when you ask people to donate directly to you, it can almost feel like you're asking somebody to put a cash value on your channel or something.
Right.
And it can feel kind of, I don't know, like, at least for me, I was kind of worried, like, oh, well, what if it doesn't go well? Does that mean the channel's not valuable? Does that mean people don't like me? Does that mean it kind of brings up all these like personal insecurities that 100%. Are annoying to deal with, shall we say? But that's kind of the life here, right? As you said, YouTube is like you have to water the tree and collect the fruit of that, versus a normal job. A company comes to you, they give you the fruit in exchange for some work, and you don't really think about it. And that's kind of I find with all of this, all of YouTube, or really being an entrepreneur in general, you have to deal with your personal issues a lot more, I think. Whereas if you have a regular job, you can kind of like shove them aside. I don't know if that's healthy necessarily, but
stuff it all down.
Right? I kind of feel like doing this has given me more permission to, I guess, like heal myself, kind of deal with my own personal issues. Because like even the Patreon thing is like, does this mean that I don't feel worthy of myself in general? Like, is this just a symptom of a bigger problem? And we're getting kind of deep here right now. Yeah. But it's just kind of funny how this stuff brings up things that normally you may not think about.
Right. Another way I got past it too was thinking about how much fun we're going to have with Patreon. Just thinking about the extra content that's going to come along with that for these people, the people, the true fans, because that's who I'm creating it for, right? The true fans, they're going to get to see a whole other side of me that YouTube doesn't get to see. Even though I am pretty much an open book on camera. What you see is what you get pretty much. But maybe there'll be a little bit more vulnerability. We'll have projects on there that have nothing to do with woodworking or concrete, stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. So what kind of extra content are you going to be putting on there? Because I think one thing that holds people up with a Patreon is like, well, it's going to be extra work, and maybe that's not a problem,
Yes.
but like, what do I even put on there?
So one of the ways I'm going to try to make it not extra work is there's going to be behind the scenes in each video that I do, pretty much. Where I'm going to try to do with each video, my fumbles or like how I'm getting those extra angles, kind of thing. Like I had a video where it was I have this series that I'm trying to do called I can put concrete in that. So what better thing to put concrete in than a vinyl gutter? Right? So you start the film off by installing some gutters on top of my shed. What people aren't thinking about, well, how is the camera all the way up there, with no one holding it? So, because I don't have a cameraman, I got to do this all myself. So sometimes you can get yourselves into very precarious situations as a YouTuber or just a filmmaker in the shots that you get. So things of that nature are going to be on there. So I made sure to set up my phone camera as well, kind of filming myself just doing that opening shot. So it'll be stuff like that. Also, I've gotten myself into the concrete niche pretty much, and I kind of pegged myself there. Eventually, I am going to try to work. I want to try to work myself into working, but right now, it's not what the viewers want. Right now, the viewers, they come to my channel to see the cool concrete projects that we do here. So there's this whole other side of me, like I'm dabbling in making guitars. So there will be some of that too that I will get to share with people that I know that the people that watch the channel don't really care to see. So we're going to do some stuff like that too. I just recently lost like 40 pounds, changed my life. I have a whole new way of eating and being. I'll have something like that. Hey, how I lost 40 pounds in 3 months. A lot of the people that watch my channel are people like me, middle-aged dudes that have been dealing with weight issues. So I got to imagine that a lot of the people would be interested in seeing something like that too. So
sure. And I'd say like the more you open your channel up to kind of your personal side, the easier it is to transition into whatever you want to do. I think it's good that you're being careful. Like you're a concrete man, like you're owning the concrete niche, and you're kind of carefully deviating from it when it feels right. I think that's good. Some people, they deviate a little too quickly. They're a little impatient. Maybe they're not grateful for the audience they have. It doesn't sound like you are that guy, and I'm grateful to hear that.
No, but I still want to throw some different things their way every once in a while. Like just recently, the last video I uploaded a couple days ago was on laser etching. Again, a company came to me like, hey, can you try this laser etcher out? And I get like probably 10 emails a day of companies wanting me to try their stuff. Everything from press-on nails to leggings to tools that you've never heard of before. But this one, I couldn't pass on this one because it just sounded like too much fun. And I had thought of right away, I was like, I could do this, I could do that. My viewers, they gotta want to enjoy this. I'm sure they're going to enjoy this. So I just went ahead and did it. So I'm still trying to sneak in these little different ones every now and then. But we always go back to the concrete.
Great. Yeah. I mean, I think it's good to have that foundation of this is what works. We can do things that are different when we feel like it, but we know this will work. There's a comfort in that. And I don't know, it seems kind of poetic, like concrete foundation of the channel. I don't know. It works. The symbolism is there. So I was wondering if you could give some advice on kind of scheduling your time. So you have a family, you've got this channel. You talked a bit about how you organize your day. At least for me, I like being kind of in the freelance YouTube sphere. One thing I struggle with is being organized with my time. It's like instead of being in an office for a set period of time and then going home, it's like I have all this freedom. So how do you take that freedom and then organize it into a way that suits you. And again, you've already kind of talked about how each day looks, but I guess I'm more talking about like the mindset. You know, let's say you schedule a time to work, you sit down and you're like, oh my God, I do not feel like working. Like, what do you do in that situation?
Well, it's I'm a creature of habit. So I do love having that habit to, going to work, then there's a certain time I come home kind of thing. I would love to tell you that I have it all figured out. We are still trying to figure it out, but it is the most of your time needs to be getting to work and working on your content, or, working on watering that tree. Deviating is okay. And it will keep your mind straight too. But again, making sure that deviation doesn't become the largest spectrum of your schedule. But Monday, I think a big part of it is knowing that Monday through Friday, that's time to be serious. Okay, that's time to get out there, make your content. Okay, have lunch when you need to have lunch, and then be done when you need to be done for the day. That's how I stay with my schedule. Again, you have those one-offs where like, okay, we need to take, our son over here, or we need to do this, or hey, we've got something scheduled for today. That's fine. Sometimes, unfortunately, work does go into the weekend, especially when I'm working on a video that's taking way longer, which most of them always take way longer than I originally planned.
As it goes.
Being flexible is a big part of it. And I think that comes with any entrepreneurial mindset or business mantra, is being flexible with that kind of thing. Eventually, I think that I will get to the point to where, okay, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., this is what I'm doing. But right now, this is what works for us, is being a little bit flexible. But I do try to stay strict to, okay, I'm out in the shed Monday through Friday, in there by 9 a.m., done by 4. So.
Yeah, and I like what you said about staying flexible and sharing the true fact that often videos take longer than expected. Like yesterday, I had a video. I was like, it should take like half a day. It took a full day. I just like, I don't even know why. I swear I fell into a time vortex and like I just sort of lost hours of my life for no particular reason. I was like thinking last night. So I woke up at 8 a.m. to start this video. I finished it at 8 p.m. And after I submitted it, I was like, when did it become 8 p.m.? I don't like, this was supposed to take me half a day. And I think what it is, so making videos is a very subjective process. It's not like, building or it's not an assembly line. Well, at least usually. There's lots of different things you can do. And I think refining lots of details ends up taking a lot of weird time that like, or you try things a lot and then end up just scrapping it. So kind of there's a lot of, I don't want to say wasted time, but it's time that doesn't directly produce anything. And it's kind of hard to account for. Sometimes it does flow into weekends. But I think it's helpful to kind of put that out there and make people know they're not alone. This happens. It's I don't know. It's the struggle of being an artist.
And I do. I tend to be creative, and my eyes and my mind is always bigger than what it needs to be. And my wife is always telling me, you're complicating it again. You're overcomplicating it. And she's like, so I am. I'm trying to complicate things less in my videos without losing the video's voice. So that's a struggle right there. But the laser video was only supposed to take me a week to film and edit and get out there. And it ended up taking me 2 weeks, just because I kept thinking of things I could make with the laser. What else can I laser? And I had to try something else. We got to go out and we got to go buy this other thing because I got to laser it. So those kind of things happen too. So.
Yep, and I mean that's part of the process, right? And it seems like you've built your channel around being able to do that. Do you have a regular release schedule, or?
Unfortunately, no, I do not. And I think this is the one thing that my channel is missing. I think this is I'm not trying to speak highly of myself, but I think that's the only reason why I'm not at 1 million subs right now is because I am not consistent, which is the number one sin of YouTube is being inconsistent. People are used to getting their content at the very least once a week. And just with what I do and the fact that I'm doing it pretty much on my own, aside from my wife helping me out with the logistics, I'm filming, I'm editing, I'm creating, I'm doing all the creating on my own. These projects, they don't get built from nothing. So I've got to create them. I've got to make them. I've got to film them, and I've got to edit them. So it's very, very difficult, to say the least, and very taxing to constantly think about the fact that I'm not uploading on a regular basis. I do try to upload on the weekends, like morning Saturday or morning Sunday. It just doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes I'm, again, editing all weekend, so then I want to put it out as soon as I can, which sometimes can be a Monday or Tuesday. So far, it hasn't seemed to hurt too much, but where could I be if I was on a regular basis? So I do know that eventually I have to hire an editor. It's just that the channel's not there yet. And it's still a little bit hard for me to want to relinquish that side of the editing. I know that there are many, many people out there that can do it way better than I can. But that's hard to hand the reins over to somebody to do that. But also, again, it's an expensive process too. That again, the channel's just not there yet. But eventually, I would love to have that done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you're a little frustrated that you aren't releasing on a regular basis, that you don't have a regular release schedule. I want to share something with you that I learned last week that kind of blew my mind. So I think our minds work somewhat similarly. I'm also very detail oriented. I always have new ideas of like, oh yeah, the video is kind of done, but I could add this to it,
Right.
So I was on a call with somebody who they're like maybe 15 years older. They had kind of like built a company that runs YouTube channels and podcasts essentially. So he kind of like has a whole system down, and he shared with me something that he learned from somebody else, and that is there's 3 categories that you can look at. So there's speed, quality, and customization. You can only pick 2 of those categories. You can't have all 3. I think you're owning the customization category and the quality category. It's the speed category where you're just like, it's hard to reliably put these videos out because of the detail that you put into them. I think that's okay. That's just kind of how your channel is built. I do know of channels that do very well that are not released on a regular basis. I think for you, the question is like, how do you scale up your channel without kind of betraying the what it already is?
Right.
And that is totally doable. I think that's just sort of a question for you to stew on, and it's totally possible. We did it with my channel Treesicle, but it's it ultimately I think comes down to just finding the right editor, and obviously having the finances of the channel to be able to pay for that. But if you are able to find the right person, they just kind of vibe with you. They can start. Right. You almost have like a telepathic connection with this person. That's right. The kind of relationship you need when you are in that customization category. You don't necessarily want somebody who's just really fast at doing simple things. Like I'm terrible at doing that, but I am really good at the customization thing. And if I'm kind of mind melding with the person I'm working for, then it works very well. So, just kind of my 2 cents there. And I totally feel your struggle. I completely get it. It's annoying, but also, you get to make dope videos and spend time on them. So right. It's, there's some positives and negatives.
It can be tough, but I love the process. It is a lot of fun. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now that you're at this point in your YouTube career, it's your full-time job. You kind of have this before and after with your life. Can you talk a little about how like how it has affected you personally. So obviously you have more freedom. You're kind of able to do more what you want. But like, I guess on like a personal level, do you feel a level of like relief now that you don't have to go into Home Depot or a job? Do you feel a level of accomplishment? Like how does YouTube make you feel on the inside?
I feel all those things. I feel relief, that I don't have to be here at a certain time if I don't want to. I feel relief that I'm the captain of my own ship. I get to steer it where I want to go. It can be scary, but it's empowering. And it makes me feel great inside. The fact that I am able to do this, and we've been able to make it happen on our own. And it's great to think about how far it can go if we just put in the extra work or the extra creativity too. It's great to think about. Whereas when I did have a full-time job, I would have all these ideas that would explode in my head. But oh my gosh, when am I going to have the time to make this one idea into fruition? I don't have the time. So, because before I had a full-time job, I was putting out like maybe a video a month, if that, because I just didn't have the time to produce it and edit. Now I have the time and I can do whatever I want now. And that feels great. And the other ways that I know this kind of deviates away from the question a little bit, but while we're talking about the way it makes me feel, my subs, my subscribers are, and I know that this is cliche and everybody says it, but happens to be true in my case. I have the best subscribers in the world. I do. They come to me with their projects. They come to me with their stories and emails, comments, Instagram DMs, and they show me the projects that they've done based on my videos. And that just, there's nothing more fulfilling than that. It is just so fulfilling. And on top of that, they will send me comments like, my favorite comments are when they tell me that I didn't think I could do this before, but now after watching your video, you made me believe that I could do it. And I did it. It kind of gets you somewhere. It really does. And until this day, it's one of the many reasons why I do this and keep doing this, because I love that. I feel, again, going back to the question, it makes me feel like I'm making a difference. I actually get to make a difference doing this. I get to reach more people when I do this. I was able to reach people doing what I did before, but nowhere near as many. And it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally get it. I think the reason that is so impactful, like YouTube can often feel like you're just kind of uploading videos to avoid and hoping that you see big numbers. And when you actually see real life people sharing how you have positively affected them, that is when it kind of comes full circle. It's like, okay,
yes.
Right, this is the kind of wholesome reason that I got into this in the first place. Like, yes, I have freedom. Yes, I like making videos. Yes, all of this is true. But ultimately, it feels good to feel like you're doing good for people.
Yes. Like
you're explaining home improvement projects in a way that somebody who has no idea what they're doing, somebody like me, by the way, can actually figure these things out and save themselves money, feel the accomplishment of building something themselves, which feels great. Even if I assemble a desk, I feel great. Right. This is coming from somebody, I've worked on computers my whole life. My entire career has always been digital. I had a weird revelation, not really revelation. I don't know. It almost haunts me and is just kind of interesting in that because everything I do has always been digital, basically the fruits of my labor don't exist physically at all. They're just right. In cyberspace. So I think it's really cool that you build things in the physical world, the material realm, and they're there forever, Right. And it's I don't know. I think it's great that you're helping people do that, because I'm definitely somebody who benefits from videos like these. The
other side of how YouTube makes you feel, that I think that people that are not into YouTube, they don't realize how the trolls. the trolls, they come out in swarms, and this channel is no different. But it doesn't matter because I've got over 1,000 great comments on top of this one stupid comment. And that's how I get past that. And again, those subs making me feel great. And it does. Just this whole journey, this whole YouTube journey, it really does. It makes me feel empowered. It really does.
That's great. Yeah. The trolls, it's weird how a negative comment can affect us more than a positive one. It's kind of unfortunate how the human mind works. But yeah, YouTube comments are weird. I mean, so have you gotten any negative comments that were like kind of entertaining?
Oh yeah, all the time. Especially I love the comments where the people that think they know what they're talking about and they want to come in and school you. And like, oh, well, this and that. No, actually. Or, again, a lot of the stuff that I work with is not the traditional things that you're used to working with. So they'll throw all the traditional knowledge on me, and then I throw it right back in their face. Well, yeah, but if you work with this stuff, if you work with rapid set cement, that's not going to happen. Or if you do it this way with this particular product, that's not true anymore. And then I learned very early on that it's not worth it to keep going back and forth. You're not going to change their mind. So again, I take my mind out of it and go back to, well, that's okay. I'm just going to read this other awesome 1,000 comments from awesome people. So
that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Yeah, I mean,
they get very entertaining though. Very entertaining.
Yeah, the comments that are very self-righteous but actually have no idea what they're talking about, I don't know. They personally usually make me feel better. I'm like, well, at least I'm not this guy. This guy is like taking the energy to like call me out on something that's not even true, and he seems really mad. Yeah. And it's like, you're just watching a video and you're mad, dude. I mean, where's your life at right now? Where's
they come
your
at you
life
as if they have an obligation to do so.
I know, right? It's like they can't help themselves. You've offended them on some level, even though they've really just offended themselves. Oh,
right. Yeah.
So now that you are where you are with your channel, you're looking to branch out into woodworking. You said kind of deviate from concrete. You're going to be launching a Patreon soon. Like how soon are you expecting to launch the Patreon? Do you have a date for that?
Well, not a date. The date is going to be when I get to launch the video. But the current video that I'm working on an outdoor fire pit right now, and as usual, it's going to be a fire pit like you've never seen because that's what this channel is all about. I try to do projects. Everybody's doing this, everybody's doing that, but I try to put my own very different spin on it to try to stand out from everybody else. But anyway, we're going to be doing a concrete fire pit outdoors, and in that video somewhere, I'm going to plug in that, hey, if you're looking to support the channel in a different way, or if you're looking for different ways to support the channel, we're going to have a Patreon. Also another way that I'm starting to monetize too, I'm starting to make my own blueprints for these projects that I'm doing. So those will be available for sale too. So I will kind of push all that, or I shouldn't say push it, but I'm going to announce it all in this video. And then every once in a while, I'll keep sprinkling it into some of the other videos. But again, I want to go back to, I don't like to push it on people. I want to let people know it's there every once in a while, but kind of let it take off on its own from there. But yes, in the next video that I launch, when it gets done, hopefully it won't be too long, hopefully near the end of this month sometime, we're going to be announcing the Patreon.
That's great. That's awesome, dude. And yeah, I definitely make sure you put it in every description, every outro, things like that. And obviously, I think you'll get more and more comfortable talking about it kind of as it goes along, and it feels more integrated with the channel. Now it's kind of on the horizon. It's new,
right?
But you'll get there, and it'll be nice and organic soon enough.
And again, it's exciting because I tried to think about, okay, well, what I'm a fan of a lot of YouTube channels, and there's a lot of YouTube channels where I get to interact with the person I'm watching, whether it's one of their live streams or something like that. Well, we're going to have a board with all the members' names on it. And then of course the top tiers will, have them highlighted in red. But it's just, in fact, it's funny because we have one Patreon right now because somebody actually emailed me and said, hey, ask me some questions. But then he also asked me, do you happen to have a Patreon? I said, well, kinda, we're working on it. It's under construction. Here's the link if you just want to check it out just to see, what it looks like so far. Within like 2 minutes, I think it was, all of a sudden we got an alert that said that we have a new Patreon. And I couldn't believe it. He just went ahead and made himself a member.
Yeah, he's
so eager. But it was so exciting to see that. Because again, coming from a place of, I don't know if I deserve it, but here it is. And somebody just went ahead and did that. And I believe his name is Jonathan. So it again, hit me right here in the heart. And so it's just exciting. So I'm excited to put it out, and I'm excited to build the community further, because we have a great community. We have a great community of people just wanting to do different things, wanting to build things on their own and create things. They're sick of just sitting there thinking about it. They want to actually do it, and they are doing it. I've got not to go off into the story tangent, but another gentleman that comes to mind, he lives about 2 hours away from me. I got to meet him personally in an event that I did at one of the Ann Arbor Home Depots. COVID hit him pretty hard. He had gotten COVID. It left him in a way, he survived, but he was unable to work a regular job anymore. So now he's just kind of sitting at home. And it's weird to say this, but he says that my videos give him kind of hope, and it gives him something to do when he can't go out there and do a regular 9-to-5 job. So he looks forward to my videos, and his wife was there to attest to that. And again, how fulfilling is that? It's amazing. So again, just excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally get it. It's amazing how some videos, they kind of they occupy a space that some people, they just really love. It means a lot to them. You're hitting just the right note that they want and need it for whatever reason. In this guy's case, it's just it's helping him out, and I get it. It is weird. It's it can be hard, I think, to accept praise on that level, but at the same time, it feels good. So it's that's the name of the game. That's how it would be on YouTube.
The people that the YouTube journey has introduced me to, that's another great thing that I've been able to take away from all this, is just where it takes me. Just for instance, again, another side of me is woodworking and guitars. I love guitars, and I just now started working at making my own guitars. A gentleman named Monty McKinnon, he has a channel. He builds acoustic guitars, and the guy's 81, 82 years old. At 79, he decided, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. If that's not motivating, I don't know what is. But it's been so great to become his friend, because he's just one of many that motivate me every day. And again, 81, 82 years old, and he's already written 2 motivational books. And he's already writing a thriller now. His journey is quite obviously not over. Where other people, okay, I'm retiring, I'm going to just sit back, put my feet up, and do nothing for the rest of my life. Not him. He's out there every day, still trying to make a name for himself, and he's doing it. He's even gotten to the point where his hands, they shake uncontrollably, but he does not let that stop him. He still goes out there. He still makes YouTube videos. He's making 2 videos a week, which he's blowing me out of the water as far as how much content he's able to pump and put out there. He's still doing little tedious trim work, things with his hands, and it's mind blowing, and it's again very motivating. You cannot have an excuse after that. You can't, no more excuses, whether it's, I don't want to get in front of the camera, or I just don't feel like it. Again, guy's 80, 81, 82 years old, and he's getting out there every day and doing it. and yeah, he's one of my best friends.
That's awesome. Like, it just goes to show you, like, you can always do it. Even especially if, like, this guy's in his 80s, he's doing it. If you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, whatever, you're good to go. You got it.
So
you
yeah,
can do it. Just start, and something's gonna happen. Something cool is gonna happen.
So yeah, if you're looking to learn how to make an acoustic guitar or just get motivated by somebody, Monty McKinnon make great videos.
Right on. Well, so we're at the point of the interview now where why don't you tell people where they can find you, pitch your Instagram, whatever it is that you want to tell people about, let the people know.
Okay, well, you can find me on YouTube always, Michael Builds. On Instagram, I'm at Michael Builds, I believe. I'm always putting up reels on Instagram, trying to make things exciting. We're trying to keep things exciting here on YouTube. I'm looking to flip the DIY platform on its head and just put some different stuff out there and make you feel like you're putting something different out there too. So I'm looking to motivate you so you can motivate me and make it a vicious cycle.
Hell yeah, I love it. I'm into it. Why don't you tell people where they can find your merch?
I'm always going to have a link in the description to my merch. There will also always, right now, my blueprints are on Etsy, but I will always have a link to my Etsy shop in the descriptions if you wanted to help support the channel that way. And that's what we got going there. And again, we're going to be launching the Patreon here in the next video once that gets up.
Right on. I'm excited for you, man. Thanks so much for joining me, Michael.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this has been great. You're a cool guy. I like what you're doing, and I look forward to see what you do next.
All right.
Yeah. Well, with that, whoever you are listening to this right now, make sure to like, subscribe, follow, so that you do not miss the next episode. You can hear my voice again and again. And don't forget, this is sponsored by VidChops.com. You can help take the burden of editing off your back. And with that, that's a wrap, people.